Hi guys, this is going to be the tutorial that's going to show you how to make one of these crochet pumpkins. Now you can make these with, if you want to make them more tighter where you don't see the stuffing and stuff, you can do that by just using a smaller hook and smaller ply yarn. But for me, I wanted to make something that was quick and that I could throw down for the kids to play with. And these worked out great. Also, if you don't want to stuff them as much, you probably won't see the stuffing as much either. And I've also noticed in a lighter color, you don't see the stuffing as much. So if you're big on wanting to make a more realistic pumpkin looking crochet project, then you definitely want to, I'd say, go down a ply yarn and a smaller hook size. But for this, I just used regular worsted weight yarn, which is 4 ply for the US, 10 ply for Australia. And I used a 4mm hook, which is a size 6, or you can use a size F hook, which is a 3.75mm hook, which is just 0.25mm short, smaller than the one I'm using here, which would probably be a good thing. So you're also going to need a tapestry needle, very, very important, because you're going to need it to make these little ridges here. And also going to need some fiber fill to stuff your pumpkins. And you'll need 2 colors of yarn. You're going to need a little bit to make the stem and then the other color to make the pumpkin. And using the worsted weight yarn like I did, I really got to use up some scrap yarn. So this is the kind I'm going to be using today. I just got green, and actually I may change the green to a brown, I'm not sure yet. But just get 2 different colors, worsted weight yarn, and get your size F hook or 4mm hook, and I'll see you back here in a second. Okay, you want to start off by making your slip knot just a little bit further down. You want to leave yourself a bit of a tail to work over, because that's going to help us be able to make our hole tighter once we get started. So what you want to do is begin by chaining 3, and then you want to work in this very first chain. The chain 2 above this very first chain will count as the first double crochet. So we're going to be working in this first chain that we did, and you're going to work a double crochet. So stick your hook in there, and then go ahead and find your tail, and you just want to wrap it around your hook here, because you're going to work over it. Then work your double crochet, and now your tail should be right here next to the hole. So you'll always be going into the hole and making sure that this is over your hook like this, and you'll always be working over it. So just continue to put 11 more double crochets in here, and since the chain 2 at the beginning counts as a stitch, you should have 12 stitches at the very end. Okay, when you get to the end of your row, you want to go ahead and slip stitch in the top of your beginning chain 2, and then if you have a big hole here, then you can go ahead and pull your tail that you were working over to tighten it. But I'm pretty good here, I don't have it set up so big. So you want to go ahead, and for the next round you want to chain 2, then you want to go right back into that same stitch and put a double crochet. And I'm going to work over my tail still just to hide it while I go. So you want to put 2 double crochets in your next stitch, and in all stitches of this round you're doubling your stitches here. So you had 12 stitches last round, and you'll work 2 double crochets in each stitch around, so at the end of this round you should have 24 stitches. Okay, once you get done with the end of your row, again you'll slip stitch in the top of the beginning chain 2. So if you want to make a tiny pumpkin, then you can go ahead and continue, you can stop increasing. And what you want to do is just chain 2 and then work 1 double crochet in each stitch around for 8 total rounds. And if you want to make a bigger one, then go ahead this next round, round 3, you'll chain 2 to begin, and then in the next stitch you want to work 2 double crochets, and then in the next you'll work 1 double crochet. Then the next you'll work 2 double crochets, and you're going to increase. That's the increase for this round. Double crochet in 1, and then double crochet 2 in the next stitch. So you'll continue that around. Single crochet 1, then single crochet 2 in the next stitch. You'll continue that all the way around, and when you get to the end, you should have 36 stitches. Okay, then you want to slip stitch in the top at the beginning, chain 2. Now, if you remember the picture that I showed at the very beginning of this video, the smaller yellow one would be the size you'd make if you started making your pumpkin last round. At the end of this round, if you want to stop increasing, you'll make a pumpkin about this size, which is the green size, which in comparison to like the thing I call the medium to large pumpkins, which are these, you want to increase more. So this is the size compared to, say, this one. I think actually this size may be bigger than, I don't know, it's hard to say. But these are the medium to large. So if you want to stop now, you'll make one about this size. But if you want to keep going, we'll do another round of increases. If you want to make that size, you want to go ahead and stop increasing now. And just chain 2 and put 1 double crochet in each stitch around, and you'll continue to do 1 double crochet in each stitch around for the next 8 rounds. And then at the end of the video, after I show you all the increases, I'll show you how to start decreasing and make your pumpkin. So the next round of increases are, you want to chain 2, put 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then 2 double crochets in the next stitch. And then you'll continue this pattern by putting 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then you'll do your increase of 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and you'll continue this pattern all the way around. 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then you'll do an increase of putting 2 double crochets in the same stitch. When you get done with this round, you should have a total of 48 stitches. Okay, when you get done, you want to slip stitch in the top of the chain 2, and you should be making this size pumpkin, which in comparison to the last one is just slightly smaller. So if you want to continue to make your pumpkin bigger and bigger, also again, if you wanted to make that this size, you're done increasing, you want to go ahead and chain 2, and again, like I told you before, put 1 double crochet in each stitch around for 8 rounds. And if you want to keep making your pumpkin bigger, again, you'll be doing chain 2. Then you'll want to put a double crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then you'll do an increase. Remember, this chain 2 at the beginning counts as a double crochet, so essentially you'll have 1 double crochet in 3 stitches and then an increase, and you'll repeat that again. Put 1 double crochet in each stitch for the next 3 stitches, and then in the next stitch put 2 double crochets. If you've ever made a hat, it's exactly the same way. It's the basic increases that you do for a round. So you'll want to keep doing that. And if you're going for a giant pumpkin, and you notice that your work is starting to buckle a little bit, it just means you have too many stitches, and you want to back off increasing for 1 round at least, and just put 1 double crochet in each stitch around, and it should flatten your piece out again. And then you can go ahead and start your next rounds of increasing. And remember, every round you're going to be putting 1 more double crochet before you do your increase. So for this round you have 3 double crochets before your increase. Next round you'll have 4 double crochets before your increase, and then the next round you'll have 5 double crochets before you do an increase. And that's how you're going to continue to increase to make your pumpkin bigger and bigger and bigger. And then once you're done, count as many rows that you have for your increases. So I'm going to back mine out here, because this is what you want to do no matter what size you're making. Once you're done with the increases, you want to count how many rows you have at that time, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 for me. So I need to do 4 rounds of decreases later. So continue to do that, and once you're ready to start your pumpkin, make sure that you count how many increases that you had for that round. Sorry, I'm losing my light. I think it's about to start raining soon. Okay, so what you want to do is chain 2, and I'm going to go ahead and start my 1 double crochet in each stitch around for the next 8 rounds. So go ahead and continue on if you want to keep increasing, and when you're done, start your double crochets 1 in each stitch around for 8 rounds, and I'll see you when you get back here. Okay, I got my 8 rows done, and I've had to turn on my lamp. Sorry, it is so dark. It's getting so dark outside and gloomy. I don't know if you can hear the thunder, but it's gonna start raining really soon. So I've had to turn on my light so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, I did my 8 rows of just putting 1 double crochet in each stitch around, and you can do more if you want to make a thicker pumpkin. This compared to this. So I think I did a few more rows with this one just to make it thicker, but this one makes kind of a flat, but you know, there's a difference between the size. If you want kind of a thicker one like this, I'd say do 2 more rows. But if you want to do kind of a plumpy looking one like this one, I would say stick with the 8 rows. And I really like this look for the bigger pumpkins. Doesn't work so well with the smaller pumpkins. So if you want to make it a little bit more plumpier, because remember, you're going to be pulling it tighter. So you're going to have it like a smaller pumpkin like this. So minimum 8 rows, but feel free to do more if you want. Sorry for that sound, which I think maybe I should, because this guy outside is just, I don't know, he's drilling or something. I don't know if you can hear it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a couple more rows and I'll be back. Okay, just got done with 2 more rows. Kind of looks like a hat. The guy's still out there drilling, and now the next door neighbor with the creating of the building has started drilling, and the lightning has started, and the thunder's getting really loud, and it seems like everything is against me filming today, but I really want to get this out because Halloween is coming in just like the next couple of days, so I want to go ahead and finish this for you guys. I'm not going to give up. So what you want to do is remember how many rounds of increases that you did. You now want to do that here. You want to do the decreases. I did 4 total rounds of, did you hear that? Thunder? I did 4 total rounds of increases, so I'm going to do 4 total rounds of decreases. So the very last row that I did was increase, here, increase, and then 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So now this, for my first round of decreases, I'm going to put 1 double crochet in 2 stitches, and then I want to do a decrease. So you're going to do exactly what you did here, but you're going to be doing it backwards. So my last round of increases were 2 double crochets. So you'll chain 2, that counts as 1 double crochet. Then the next stitch as 1 double crochet. This time you'll be doing a double crochet decrease. So you want to go in and pull up a loop, pull through only 2 loops, then yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, pull through only 2 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. That's how you do a double crochet decrease. Then again, I'm going to put 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then I'm going to work a double crochet decrease. And you want to do this the exact opposite of your increase rows. So if you, this is the double crochet decrease again, you only pull through 2, yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through only 2, then pull through all 3 loops. So if you, your last row was that you did 1 double crochet in the last 4 stitches before you did an increase, then you'll want to do that here. You'll want to put a double crochet in 4 stitches and then do a double crochet decrease. So continue this, and every round it'll be the same. So the next round that I had only one double crochet before I did an increase. One double crochet, then increase. So my next round after I finish up this one will be one double crochet, decrease, one double crochet, decrease. I usually like to take you through every single row, but with the sound and the lack of light and the lightning, I'm afraid I'm going to lose my power. So go ahead and repeat that, and when you get to where the hole is getting pretty small, I think after a couple of rounds of decreases, you, well, for me, for this size, you may be able to do at least 3 rounds of decreases. You want to go ahead and stuff your pumpkin. So I'm going to do this for a few rounds, and I'll stuff my pumpkin, and I'll see you back here in a moment. Okay, I just did 2 rows of my decrease. My second row, I had a double crochet decrease and 1 double crochet decrease, double crochet. When you get to that row where you're down to 1 double crochet decrease and 1 double crochet, well, I can't talk all of a sudden, it should be perfect enough for you to start stuffing, no matter what size you made originally. When you get down to that particular row, it is time to start stuffing. And I really do think that for the small size pumpkin, I think 8 rows would be good, and even for the medium, the medium size. But for the large to even bigger, I would say do about 10 rows with this bigger one. And I'll change the pattern to reflect this too. About 10 rows for the bigger size one, which I think will give you about this size here. And or you can even add more depending on how thick you want your pumpkin. You can add as many rows as you want, and then just remember, once you're starting to do the decreases, do the opposite of what you did at the beginning for as many rows as it took you to get to this. And when you get to that last row of decreases that I mentioned, you want to stuff it. If you stuff it too much, when you go to make your pumpkin like this with the string, it will show. So if you don't really want the stuffing to show so much, you can not stuff it as much. There's lightning, thunder again. So right now you can't really see the stuffing, but when it pulls, see, it won't be so bad stuffing it this much. I think I want to stuff it a little bit more though. Not much more. I just want to finish stuffing my top. Okay. Doesn't need to be so uber tight here because you will be, pushing it down. Okay, I'm gonna put the rest of this stuffing away here. And I'm gonna finish my last row of decreases, which will be a double crochet decrease in all my stitches around, because I just did my double crochet decrease, then double crochet. So this next and final decrease will be double crochet decrease in each stitch around. So I'll be using every 2 stitches to do my decreases, because I'm turning those 2 stitches into 1. So just continue working around, trying not to get your stuffing in your stitches, putting your double crochet decrease all the way around, and I'll see you back here in a moment when we switch to the stem color. Okay, I've reached the end here, and I'm gonna slip stitch on the top of my first double crochet decrease here, and I'm gonna cut my yarn, and I'm gonna switch to my stem color. And I went ahead and I grabbed this brown. It was in my scrap pile. This is really great to get rid of some scrap yarn at the end of the year. Now I'm gonna leave myself some tail to hide, just put it inside with my stuffing basically. And I just folded my yarn in half here, and I'm gonna slip it through the loop of my old loop here, pull pull your old tail just to tighten it up here, then you can let it go. And now you're going to be working with your new color. So chain 2 with your new color, and then start putting 1 double crochet in each stitch around. If you're making a really big pumpkin and you feel like you need to do more of a decrease here, you can, but I really don't think you'll need it. And there's the guy drilling again. Okay, I'm just gonna see you back here in a moment. Okay, get down to the end of the row, slip stitch in the beginning, chain 2, and then I'm gonna chain 2, and I'm gonna do it again. I like to do this about 3 times, and I believe I did this, yeah, for about 3 rounds. So go ahead and you're going to finish this round, which will be the second round of double crochets, and then go ahead and do it one more time, so you have 3 rounds of double crochets. Okay, I did my 3 rounds of double crochet, and for the very last round you want to chain 2, and now we're going to be doing double crochet decreases for the rest of the round. So in every stitch around, going to be doing just like you did this last row here, just going to be working double crochet decreases, and this is going to finish up the stem. Shouldn't take me too long here to do the decreases. Can you hear the thunder? Talk about a Halloween video. Okay, so when you get done, find that top chain, and sorry for the shadow and everything. I really hate that I've lost my light. It's completely, there's no light outside anymore. So what I would do for some of my pumpkins would just to slip stitch a few times just to completely seal up the top. You don't have to do this, but I think it looks better. And then go ahead and chain 1, cut your yarn, and I would get my tapestry needle and I would just work it to hide it. Hasn't started raining yet though. And then cut it. Okay, keep your tapestry needle out here. You want to grab your color that you used for your pumpkin here, and you want to have a really long tail, decently long. I would say maybe about 20 or so inches long. And what I did is, first you can get your hook. Find one of the beginning double crochets in the very beginning circle here. Just grab up the post of one of those double crochets, and I just fed it in there. And I kind of left my tail long on this side so that I could use it later with the tapestry needle and hide it. I just did a couple of knots like this. Then with the other side of my tail, I would thread the tapestry needle through. Now, near where I tied here, which is in the stitch right here, I go into the same exact stitch that I tied to and push it through, and then try to find it's equal on the other side, but in the stem itself, you want to make sure you're coming up through a stem, through the stem bottom. See, there's the tail. I'm so sorry about the light, guys. There's the tapestry needle going through the stitch, the stem. Pull it through just like this. Now you're up at the top. Sorry, I'm a little light here. So now you're up at the very top, opposite of where you went in here. So what I did at this point is I kind of used this circle here as a reference and slowly made my way around. You want to make about 5 areas for the pumpkin. So if I go in here and I go through like maybe, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So about every other stitch here, you can go in. So I started here. So I want to skip a stitch and go into the next stitch. And then again, you're working your way around this pumpkin side as well. So I'm skipping this one, skipping this stitch on the stem because I went in through this one last time, skipping this one and going in through this one, next stitch, and I'm just going to pull it. Now this time you have the string on the outside, so you want to find here where it lines up from here to here, and then pull it tight. And now look at it, see if it's about the bulkiness that you want. If you want to pull it more, but see, mine is kind of messing up the yarn look a little bit, so I don't want it to be that tight. That's good right there. Not too bad. Okay, once you find about that tightness, then it should kind of hold. You shouldn't have to hold it. It should just kind of do it automatically. Now I'm working around this way, the clockwise, and you can just put this here about the size where you want your next one, which will give you a reference to here where you want to put your next stitch, which is going to be about right there. And I'm going to come up on the other side again. I'm working like this. So my last stitch I used was here on my stem. So I'm going to go, let me go a little closer here. Say this is, you can even see my string is still in it. So this is the one I went in. I'm going to skip this one and I'm going to go into the next. I'm going to try to come up through that next stitch here. And then pull your yarn. Come back out now. And then keep pulling it. I think that's good. Okay, now I'm going to skip the next stitch here, go into my next stem on the top. And this was the last stitch that I went in here, so I'm going to kind of come a little bit over this direction. Because see, this is where I ended here. Now I'm going to come out here, trying to skip a stitch from the bottom. See, I came in through this stitch. It's so hard to show on the bottom, and I skipped this stitch here, and then I'm going to the next, and I'm pulling it through. Now I'm going to keep working around this direction. Where did my yarn go here? Oh, okay. So, oops. Wait, did I get it in there right? Okay. I don't think I was supposed to go down through there yet, going every other one. I did this before when I was making pumpkins. I'd come back down through the middle when I really should have went on the outside. So if you do that too, it's probably good it happened on camera, because I can show you. If you do that, it's okay. You can just come up from the bottom, find out where your last one was or where you want the next one to be, and then just come in from the top. Find the stitch you need up on top of the stem and go in from the top and out the bottom. You can do it either way. Find the next stitch you need down here and pull it up. And just pull. So you can still do it. Just keep working your way around. It's actually easier, I think, from this side, because I can just choose exactly where I want it like this, then go in up here. Which I won't. We have enough room on our pumpkin here to do at least 2 more. I can do one about here and then one about here. So I'm going to go about like this, going through my top here. It's very hard to show this on camera. and pull. Okay, I'm going to do it one more time. I can go up like this. That'll make my last little part here. Going through the top of the stem. This part here has not had anything put in it. So it's okay to move over slightly, as long as before you pull it tight, you adjust where you want your string. And then pull it. So that way you pulled all your stem parts down like that, because you really want that stem part down so that it shows up. Okay, so now that we got our pumpkin and you like everything, remember before you pull it tight, you really want to make sure that your string is where you want it, because once you pull it tight and move on to the next section here, it's going to be impossible really to adjust it. So once you've got it, you like it, keep it tight like this. You can drop that, grab that other long piece of string you left here at the beginning, and you want to tie a couple of knots, and it will hold your stuff together. And then with this one, since it's still attached, I kind of go through the bottom here, just hide my tails a bit. Just run it through a couple of stitches here. You can do the same thing with the smaller one too, but I recommend getting your needle in the stitches first, like that, and then, it's hard to do, but, and then you can grab your tail and then feed it in the tapestry needle while it's already in the stitches, and then you can just pull it. You can do that with any small tails that you can't actually do that with because there's not enough string. Put the needle in first, then thread it, and then just pull it through. Then when you've done that, you can cut your tails, and you are done with your pumpkin. And let's see how big this one turned out compared to the other ones that I made before. So I did 2 more rows. This one I did 8 rows. This one I went ahead and I did 2 more rows. So this is with 8. I mean, this is with 10. This is with 8. And you can see that it made the same size. It's just thicker. And you can do the same thing with your own. You can go more rows if you want a thicker pumpkin, taller pumpkin. 8 rows would make a cute little one like this. But the thicker makes more of a, you know, the thicker the pumpkin here, you can add a face. So keep that in mind too, if you want faces on yours. And that's it. Oh, I forgot my little green one. In comparison to the green one, you can see much, much bigger. So that's it. That's how you make one of these cute little crocheted pumpkins. I'm really sorry about the light. I hope that you could still see what I was doing, and that maybe you can make a few for Halloween, which is about over, but these still go great for Thanksgiving too. So I hope that you can make use out of it. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to check me out on my social media. You can find all the links below this video. And also, if you are a first-time watcher or you haven't gotten around to it yet, please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.